Chosen one, stop scrolling. This message found you for a reason. For a long time, they watched you. They studied you. They whispered about you. They judged you. They tried to predict your next move. But something strange happened recently. Something that none of them expected. You stopped reacting. You stopped explaining yourself. You stopped defending your truth. You stopped trying to prove who you are. And the moment you did that, they all fell silent. Because the truth is, chosen one, the moment you master your silence, the noise around you begins to collapse. Most people think power is loud. They think strength is arguing back. They believe dominance means proving others wrong. But the awakened soul understands something deeper. Real power is quiet. When a chosen one reaches a certain level of awakening, they no longer feel the need to fight every misunderstanding. They no longer chase validation from people who never truly saw them. And that is exactly the moment everything shifts. You see, your silence confuses them. They expected anger. They expected reactions. They expected you to break. But instead, you evolved. For years, many chosen ones go through a phase where people constantly test them. Family members doubt them. Friends misunderstand them. Strangers project their fears onto them. It feels like you are constantly under spiritual pressure. But that pressure is not punishment. It is preparation. Because awakening is not just about discovering who you are. It is about discovering who you are not. You are not their opinions. You are not their labels. You are not the version of you they tried to control. And when you finally realize that, you stop explaining yourself. That moment is terrifying for people who depended on your reactions. Because reactions gave them control. Every argument, every emotional response, every attempt to defend yourself, it fed the energy they were used to receiving from you. But the awakened chosen one eventually learns a sacred skill: energy protection. You start choosing peace over proving a point. You begin to understand that not every misunderstanding needs correction. Not every accusation deserves a response. And when you step into that level of awareness, your silence becomes louder than words. People suddenly notice something different about you. You walk differently. You speak less but mean more. Your presence feels heavier. Not in a negative way, in a powerful way. Because spiritual awakening changes your frequency. You stop chasing approval. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You stop lowering your truth to fit their expectations. And that shift makes people uncomfortable. Why? Because your growth exposes their stagnation. Your peace reveals their chaos. Your silence reveals their noise. And suddenly, the same people who once criticized you begin watching you quietly. They don't know what to say anymore. Because deep down, they realize something. You are no longer the same person they used to manipulate. The old version of you would explain everything. The old version of you would argue. The old version of you would try to be understood. But the awakened chosen one understands a powerful truth. Not everyone deserves access to your explanation. Sometimes silence is the highest form of wisdom. Look at your journey. You have been misunderstood. You have been isolated. You have been called different. But those experiences were never random. They were shaping you. Chosen ones often walk a lonely road because their path requires independence from the crowd. The universe separates them from certain people, so their vision cannot be corrupted. It may feel painful in the beginning, but later you understand the purpose. You were being protected. Many people could not walk with you because they were not meant to see where you are going. And now something else is happening. The more you grow, the quieter your life becomes. Drama disappears. Arguments disappear. Fake connections disappear. At first, this silence may feel strange, but it is actually a sign of alignment. Your energy is no longer available for chaos. Your spirit has moved beyond that frequency. And the people who once tried to control you can feel it. They sense the shift. That is why they became quiet. Not because they suddenly changed, but because they lost access to your energy. Chosen one, your greatest transformation was never about proving others wrong. It was about becoming so aligned with your truth that you no longer need to prove anything at all. And that level of peace is something most people will never understand. So if you have noticed people becoming quiet around you lately, if you have noticed that arguments suddenly stopped, if you feel like certain individuals no longer know how to approach you, do not be confused. This is the sign of your elevation. You stepped out of the battlefield, and when the warrior leaves the battlefield, the fight ends. But remember this: your silence is not weakness. It is mastery. Because only those who truly understand their power know when to speak and when to walk away. Chosen one, your journey is only beginning. And the more you awaken, the more you will realize that the loudest victories in life often happen in complete silence. So if this message resonated with your soul, make sure you support the mission of Chosen Wave. Like this video, so this message can reach more awakened souls. Subscribe to Chosen Wave to stay connected to the truth they don't want you to hear. And most importantly, comment below, "I walk in silence," because I want to know how many chosen ones are stepping into their true power right now. And remember, the moment you stop reacting is the moment they realize they can no longer control you. Chosen one, stop scrolling. Because the truth you are stepping into now is not comfortable for everyone around you. When you begin awakening, the first thing that changes is not your life. It's your awareness. Suddenly, you start seeing patterns you never noticed before. You notice how certain people only come to you when they need something. You notice how some conversations are filled with hidden negativity. You notice how people smile in front of you but speak differently behind your back. Before awakening, you ignored these things. Not because you were blind, but because your heart was still learning. But once a chosen one awakens, the blindfold is removed. And that is when the silence begins. Because when you start seeing clearly, you stop participating in illusions. You stop entertaining gossip. You stop feeding negative conversations. You stop reacting to manipulative behavior. And people notice this shift immediately. They feel like something about you has changed, but they cannot explain what it is. They just know that their old ways of dealing with you no longer work. This is why many chosen ones experience a strange phase during their awakening. People suddenly become distant. Friends who once called you every day start disappearing. Family members start acting awkward around you. Certain people stop sharing things with you. And at first it feels confusing. You might even blame yourself. You might wonder if you said something wrong. But the truth is much deeper than that. Your energy simply changed. When a chosen one raises their awareness, their energy becomes incompatible with manipulation, dishonesty, and negativity. It's like tuning into a different frequency. Those who vibrate on lower frequencies feel uncomfortable around you. Not because you attacked them, not because you judged them, but because your presence quietly exposes what they are not ready to face. You become a mirror. And not everyone likes what they see in that mirror. Some people will try to challenge you. They may test your patience. They may try to provoke you. They may even try to pull you back into your old reactions. Because if they can make you react the old way, they feel safe again. But the awakened chosen one sees the trap. And instead of reacting, you choose stillness. You choose silence. And that silence becomes the most powerful response you could ever give. Because silence removes the fuel from their behavior. Manipulation needs reaction. Drama needs participation. Conflict needs two people. But when a chosen one stops participating in these cycles, everything collapses. And that is exactly why they fell silent. Not because they suddenly respect you, but because they realize their tactics no longer work. You have stepped outside of the game. This is a major spiritual milestone that many people never reach. Most individuals spend their entire lives reacting to everything around them. They allow others to control their emotions. They allow opinions to shape their identity. But the chosen one eventually breaks free from this cycle. You begin to understand something powerful. Peace is not something you find. Peace is something you protect. And protecting your peace means letting certain conversations die. It means allowing certain relationships to fade away. It means accepting that not everyone is meant to understand you. This realization can feel lonely, because awakening often removes many people from your life. But here is the hidden truth. The silence around you is not emptiness. It is space. Space for the right people to enter. Space for your true purpose to emerge. Space for the universe to align new paths for your journey. Chosen ones are rarely surrounded by large crowds. Their circle becomes smaller, but far more genuine. Because once you awaken, you can no longer pretend. You can no longer maintain connections built on fake energy. You can no longer ignore your intuition. Your spirit simply refuses to return to environments that drain your soul. And this is where many people misunderstand the chosen one. They think you became distant. They think you became cold. They think you changed. But the truth is, you stopped betraying yourself. For years, you tolerated things that did not align with your spirit. You stayed quiet to keep the peace. You allowed others to disrespect your boundaries. But awakening changes that forever. Now your silence has meaning. Your distance has purpose. Your peace has value. And those who once benefited from your old version are the ones who struggle the most with your transformation. Because they lost access to the energy they once took for granted. Chosen one, your silence is not rejection. It is protection. It is the universe guiding you away from distraction that were never meant to follow you into your destiny. And as you continue walking this path, you will notice something even more fascinating. The same people who once doubted you will begin watching you from a distance, quietly observing your growth, trying to understand what changed. Because deep down, they know something powerful happened within you, something they cannot control anymore. And that realization is what truly silenced them. Chosen one, something else begins to happen when you reach this level of awakening. Your presence starts speaking louder than your words ever could. Before, people used to focus on what you said. Now they focus on how you move. They watch how calm you remain in situations that once would have triggered you. They notice how you no longer chase attention. They observe how you remain grounded even when others are emotional. And this creates a strange effect. People begin studying you in silence, not because they admire you openly, but because They are trying to understand how you became this way. The truth is, chosen one, awakening forces you to master something most people never learn: emotional discipline. In the past, you may have reacted quickly. You may have tried to defend yourself the moment someone misunderstood you. You may have tried to correct every false assumption people had about you. But now you see the bigger picture. You realize that some people do not misunderstand you accidentally. They misunderstand you intentionally. Because misunderstanding you allows them to maintain the story they created about you. And the moment you stop fighting that story, the power shifts. When you no longer argue with lies, the people spreading them become uncomfortable. They expect confrontation. They expect defense. But your silence forces them to sit with their own words. And suddenly, the same voices that once spoke loudly about you start fading into the background. This is one of the most powerful transformations a chosen one can experience. You stop trying to control how others perceive you. You stop trying to manage everyone's opinion. Because you realize something that changes everything. People will see you the way their level of consciousness allows them to see you. Nothing more. Nothing less. Someone operating from jealousy will see arrogance. Someone operating from fear will see danger. Someone operating from insecurity will see threat. But someone operating from awareness will see truth. And once you accept this reality, something inside you becomes incredibly peaceful. You stop wasting energy on the wrong audience. Instead, you focus on alignment. Alignment with your purpose. Alignment with your growth. Alignment with the path the universe has placed before you. Chosen ones are not here to convince everyone. They are here to awaken those who are ready. Chosen one, if this message reached you, it was not an accident. The truth is, only awakened souls truly understand what was just revealed here. Most people will hear these words, but only the chosen will feel them. So if you felt something deep in your spirit while listening to this, that's your confirmation. It means you're not crazy. You're not imagining things. You're simply waking up to who you were always meant to be. Now I want to hear from the real chosen ones watching this. Drop the comment, "I choose silence, I choose power." If you're stepping into your higher self and refusing to let the world pull you back into old energy, make your presence known. And if this message spoke to your soul, make sure you like this video so it can reach other chosen ones who feel alone in their awakening. Subscribe to Chosen Wave and join a community of awakened minds who are discovering the truth together. Because the world is changing, and the chosen ones are finally remembering who they are. So tell me in the comments, when did you realize your silence became your greatest power?